Oh, don't mind me. I'm just working at my new stay-home job as a Poochie marketing executive. And yes, we do have competition that also rhymes with this and starts with the G, but we're not going to talk about them because A, it's a company policy not to even mention them, and they're pretty much the scum of the earth here. What's this tomfoolery going on? You're doing nothing. This is the busiest time of the year. Black Friday's about to happen, and you're not doing anything productive. Look, I need a new marketing idea, something that will give us an advantage over that certain company that starts with a G that just so happens to rhyme with our name. If you don't come up with an idea, I'm gonna have to fire you. Well, I had a few ideas in mind. How about let's do a Jojo crossover with our clothing line? What exactly is a Jojo? You don't know what Jojo is? I mean, everybody knows that. It's a universal phenomenon. Look, I'm gonna save myself explaining and wasting everyone's time here. Just take a look at this, and this will explain everything. Oh my! I'm a little bit flabbergasted. But I like these. I like them. If we have more of these, oh, we could definitely sell our clothing line if we had more of these sort of photos. Look, I don't care how you get this done. Just get this guy who makes this JoJo stuff onto the team with us for this crossover, and you'll be able to keep your job. I'll be back to see the results soon. Good luck. You're gonna need it. Great, wonderful. We finally have a common ground of understanding. But before I elaborate on the situation, I'm gonna have to go over a few things. Our competition that rhymes with our company name and starts with a G, which we will not mention since company policies forbid it, have done a similar thing in the past. And today, I'm going to describe what they did to achieve this crossover. They produced two stories. Jolene flies high with, we can't say that, and Rohan goes to, which we can also not say that. But I'm going to talk about those stories, and hopefully I'll give you guys some pretty cool insight of what is kind of a very strange crossover, which you would never really see under normal circumstances. Oh well, without further ado, let's get started. Okay, the first crossover story is titled Rohan Kishibe Goes to Gucci. Yeah, the title is very straightforward to the point. Rohan introduces himself within the regards of his name and his occupation. For the first page, he basically just praises Italy. Obviously, as the title suggests, this is where he is right now. This certainly doesn't surprise me, as Araki has a history with setting his stories here. But don't you worry, Rohan brought company. Who is it? Our boy Koichi? No, what about Josuke? He was a great character. No. Get ready for the best brand new character first introduced in this manga. The Interpreter. Yeah, she has no name, none at all. Well, okay. The reason why Rohan is here is to have his grandmother's cherished bag fixed by Gucci themselves. Well, I mean, what's the issue with the bag? In the most JoJo over-the-top fashion, here's the issue. When anything of objective, universal value is thrown in the bag, it just disappears. Rohan demonstrates this with 60 euros in front of the Gucci clerk. You know, if you were in this guy's shoes, what would be a reasonable response if you saw this occurring? How about a word-for-word Wikipedia-style copy and paste information dump on the reader? During this info dump, we get the most out-of-place photo of presumably the creative director of Gucci. I just don't know. This hyper-realistic photo just contrasts terribly with the hand-drawn characters. It just looks so out of place. I mean, the photo sort of looks like a mugshot. It's so off-putting and extremely distracting. Rohan sees through this bullshit corporate speech and simply asks if they could just fix his bag. Though the clerk responds saying that the bag has a true purpose that Rohan does not know of. Then afterwards, the interpreter just yucks it up, and then the next page, Rohan is stranded. Yeah, it's such an awkward transition. I actually got a little bit confused and thought like I may have skipped a few pages, but no, this is how it transitions. But anyway, apparently this so-called interpreter robbed Rohan of everything and left him out in the middle of nowhere after they went to go drink at a winery. It's very strange, and that's going to be a kind of a common thing through and throughout these stories. Also, I guess the quote-unquote interpreter was just written in to give the plot some conflict. Oh, and don't forget, we have to advertise all the clothing line accessories. To be frank, Rohan was pretty much fine without his communicator. He seemed to talk with the clerk rather well. I mean, he's doing the majority of the talking if you're reading that part of the manga, so I don't know why she was even needed, aside from those points that I mentioned. Just a very useless character. Whatever. It starts raining, and then Rohan fortunately finds an overly conveniently placed Gucci umbrella, which protects him from the rain. You know, I'll give the story that was actually kind of clever, not gonna lie. Then he lights up cow manure? Yeah, I had to reread the text bubble, but yeah, he lights up cow manure to make fire. The fire was used as a signal in order to help Rohan hitchhike. So once he's able to hitchhike a ride, where does he go? He goes to a hotel, but then conveniently finds out that he doesn't have enough money for a room, which he knew he didn't have money for. So why would he go to a hotel expecting to buy a room without any money? Anywho, Rohan gets stopped by an individual who offers to buy his Gucci umbrella for 60 euros. Also, just a side note, he's not breaking a sweat at all talking to these people. Again, why did he need a translator? Or my bad, interpreter. At this point, he realizes the true bag's purpose was to send the valuable items that were thrown in there to eventually come back to him sooner or later. Now able to buy the room with the money he got from selling the umbrella, he only regrets that he should have put a little bit more money into the bag to purchase a meal from the hotel. And then it just ends there, just like that. Before I talk about the next story, there's something I want to bring up that you've probably noticed at this rate. Where's Rohan stand Heaven's Door? Well, maybe this takes place before part 4, Diamond is Unbreakable. Yeah, very wishful thinking, but this just can't be true. Because remember what currency he throws into the Gucci bag? Yeah, a euro. Well, how does this even relate? Well, during the year of 2002, the lira was not a legal contender for currency within Italy, and it got replaced by the euro. Part 4 takes place in the summer of 1999. See where I'm going here? Well, there could be someone out there that would argue against this, saying, well, maybe Jojo's not going for real-world events that occur at specific times. And sure, fair point, but take a look.
じゃあよ、そろそろ行こうよ。100億リラを隠した場所によ。ニコロさんだ。100億リラを受け取りに来たぞ。気に収める金。100億リラは。
I rest my case. Also, Rohan acknowledges that the bag had a stand. He uses that specific terminology. Under normal circumstances, how would anyone know what a stand is unless that person had one? With all that evidence, he should have a stand. And with that stand, he could have used Heaven's Door on Koichi to just teach him Italian, and he did the same thing in part 5. There was no reason to have this ridiculous character, the interpreter, to even be in the plot. The only reason why she's in there is to advertise the clothing every other page. And look, I know these stories are not canon, and they're really not meant to be taken seriously whatsoever, but at the same time, there's just these loose, empty plot holes that kind of stick out to me. But if you love plot holes, get ready for the next story. Jolene flies high with Gucci. Oh, and yes, I'm sure Araki was very high when he wrote this. You'll understand what I mean very soon. Like before, Jolene introduces herself similarly to Rohan. She explains her mother died 10 days ago from an illness, and she's boarding a flight for Tokyo to stay with relatives. While Jolene is explaining all this, yeah, her clothes are going to be changing every other page or so keep that in mind while reading. Though at this rate, I'm already used to this happening. That's not where things get weird. She sees some weird creature behind her, and then Bruno and Obakio, if I'm pronouncing that right, show up out of nowhere and say they're government workers and demand to go check her bag. And no, this isn't just a character that looks very similar to them. They just outright state their names. If you thought that was strange, then you just wait. Then Pulpo barges onto the scene playing bad cop. Well, I will give him credit. He has lost quite the amount of weight since we last saw him. But yeah, if anyone has read or watched part 5, then a lot of red flags are probably going up for you. I won't say much on that matter. For the meanwhile, however, they just hassle poor Jolene down like crooked salesmen. She obviously rightfully refuses, but as a result, Bruno he threatens to arrest her for not letting them search her bag. Look, I understand you have to show your bag when you're going through security, but this is a little bit different, and these guys don't show their IDs whatsoever, so for all we know, they could just be pretending to be fake government agents. For all Jolene and even the reader knows, these three could be part of a scheme to rob her of her belongings. And one thing is for sure, airport scams are nothing new within Jojo. To stop the overall bickering, Bruno just casually decides to check the security footage. On screen, an injured unicorn limps over to Jolene and then suddenly disappears. Popo is like sweating bullets while watching this, and then afterwards he's just accused of abusing this animal. I don't even know why this is even a thing in this manga, but I mean, it never gets brought up again, nor does it ever get concluded upon. Well, aside from Popo's abusive actions, no one really cares about that at the moment. Everyone just wants to know where this unicorn disappeared to. Well, what did happen? It just so happens that this unicorn was in Jolene's scarf that was, by the way, her mother gave it to her the whole time after the footage was taken, and then suddenly just jumps out of her scarf. It grows larger and then has at least one of the most disturbing faces I think Araki has ever written within JoJo. I'm sure there's other examples that may beat that, but it's certainly up there. Jolene, like pretty much everybody else right now, is extremely shocked. Then she realizes it's probably just a dream, and the story ends there. Yeah, like I said, abrupt endings are going to be pretty common in these stories. But yeah, those were the two crossover stories. Well, both of these were pretty interesting. I think one of the highlights was certainly the artwork that was done. I think in Jolene Flies High, this is actually very exemplified. But if I had to say which one I liked the most out of the two, it probably would be Rohan Goes to Gucci. Overall, the story is a little bit more level-headed, but overall, I kind of also do like the more dreamy, crazy aspects within Jolene Flies High. Also, with Jolene Flies High, the plot holes were very obvious, but they could be excused because at the end of the day, it was all just a dream. Rohan Goes to Gucci, however, yeah, those plot holes are a little bit more unexcusable. For real though, would I recommend you read these? Well, it certainly wouldn't hurt at all, and they only took me about 30 minutes to finish both of them up, and if not for that, I think the artwork, especially the ones done on like a full page, are definitely still worth your time. Well, now that that's done, I can finally hook up and talk with my longtime friend Araki. And yes, I have his personal number. Let me give him a call right now so we can talk some strategy, talk about how this crossover is going to work. I'm sure he'll be more than willing to help out the company and to save my job on the line. Well, it just so happened that phone number sent me to a local Burger King, and then an employee picked up the phone number. I demanded to get in touch with Araki. He had no idea what I was talking about. He almost kind of got scared and then proceeded to probably call the police on me. So at that point, I just backed off, and yeah, that phone number on eBay I bought was definitely fake, and now I want my money back.